What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're returning to my series called Fighting with Your Physique, where I give you tips on how to utilize the strengths you were given, the strengths you were born with, to become that much more dangerous in sparring sessions or in fights. Now within this series I've already covered what to do if you are the taller fighter, if you're the shorter, stockier fighter, if you're somebody who's extra strong. But today we're going to move on and we're going to talk about what you should be doing if you're somebody with fantastic speed. The first thing I want to say about having incredible speed is I believe it is one of the best gifts, one of the best assets you can have in the fight world. Now, that is not to say that it can't be defeated, because it definitely can. But if you utilize your speed correctly, it gives you a massive advantage. And if you're somebody who's looking to increase your speed, I've done a couple videos before on just little tips which will help you become a little bit quicker, help develop that twitch muscle which you need to punch or kick that much faster. So you can check that out. Now, speed is one of those things that if you utilize it correctly, it's so dangerous. But if you utilize it incorrectly, it can actually be dangerous for you. So I want to break down today the strengths and the weaknesses of having really good speed, but making sure you don't utilize it incorrectly. And let's start off and let's talk very quickly about the necessity, in my opinion, to get in and out. We don't want to just utilize our speed if our opponent's right here. We don't want to step in and go, oh, I'm so much faster than them, I'm going to bomb punches in tight. Because what you're doing is you're almost taking away your speed advantage in the fact that this guy can throw shots from in tight. When we see people who are very, very fast, guys like Lomachenko, Pacquiao, you will not always see them dive in and just exchange in 10-punch combinations. What you'll see them do is fire, fire, get out. 1, 2, 3, get out. 1, 2, take an angle. And they're constantly making things very difficult for their opponents to actually land shots, instead of just diving into the pocket and just going like bah, and then hoping the guy doesn't respond. You have to throw your shots and then move out. So if you can remember that, it doesn't matter if it's kickboxing, Muay Thai, boxing, MMA, if you're really fast, you want to utilize some distance, you want to get in, make sure that you do everything correctly, fire off nice shots, keep your chin really low, your shoulders high, keep yourself protected, fire those really, really explosive fast shots and then get yourself out. And that is the best and safest way, in my opinion, to utilize your speed. The next thing I want to talk about, which is kind of similar to what we just touched on, but I'm going to be more vague here, is you want to fight on your terms. So what I essentially mean by that is what we just talked about. If you move in, you throw your shots, you want to get out. You don't want to end up in this tight little box. Well, the same thing goes for pretty much everything. If you are the faster fighter, you do not want to let this guy dictate the fight in any way. You want to utilize your speed and allow that to control the pace of the fight. So if the guy's constantly moving towards you and all you're doing with your speed is just backing up and pump, jab, jab. And then when he starts to ease off, then you start utilizing your jab again, moving forward, and then putting together your combos. But again, as he aggresses on you, bam! Or if you're somebody who's really fast with the front kick, you use that to jam them. All of that is you controlling the fight and having it be on your terms. Very, very important. Pretty much in any instance, but especially if you're somebody who has or possesses amazing speed. The next point to keep in mind is keep your back off the ring ropes. And that kind of plays into everything else we just talked about. Or if you're fighting in a cage, keep your back off the cage. The reason we do not want to let our back hit the cage or the ring is right from here. Yes, I can still punch fast, so I still have the speed advantage, but I'm cornered. And usually people who have that ability to punch fast have the ability to move their feet very quickly, which gives you that ability to be hard to hit. So yes, maybe from here you can fire off really fast shots, or yes, you can work on some slick fast head movement, but you are better off having the ability to back up, throw shots, back up, throw shots, take those angles, move forward. You want to be able to do everything. So one massive point, keep that back off the ring ropes. As soon as you touch him, take that angle and utilize that footwork speed to get yourself into somewhere neutral in the ring. Now, something I want to pause and talk about is what type of speed do you possess? Because that's very important. Are you somebody who can just jump in and fire, really fast combinations? Or are you somebody who has that really fast twitch muscle? You're just standing there and just bam, bam, but you can't really get good combos going, or maybe your legs are exceptionally fast or something like that. But it's very important to understand what your strengths are and to work within that. Because, I'm a pretty fast guy, but I've sparred guys who are faster than me, and I find it fairly easy to neutralize speed or the advantage of speed in somebody else by just using a few small little tactics. Obviously, if I'm punching at this pace and the other guy's going pop, pop, well, that's not even close. But for me, we're talking probably if I throw at like 95 miles per hour and the other guy throws at like 110 miles per hour, it's not enough to really make a big difference. So in my experience, in my opinion, if somebody has just a tiny bit more speed, I'll just generally wait for them to move forward. I'll take the shot and then I'll fire back because there's not that much difference. And overall, it doesn't really help the other person much. However, they used their speed advantage in a different way, a way that was more difficult for me. Like maybe from the outside, they're twitching the fakes and then they just fire a single shot and they pull their head back really fast so there's no counter for me. That starts making things much more difficult. So again, if you have a naturally God-given speed, you want to make sure you think about it. Watch people who are really good, see what they're doing, try and copy the way they utilize speed, and then just do sort of some soul searching and figure out what's going to work best for you. Because one of the dangers of having incredible speed is sometimes people think, okay, I have to get in really, really fast. And what I've had happen to me a couple times is I've had people jump on me who are really, really quick, and I throw the counter shot on the way in. And because they come in so fast, it's like a head-on collision. It's so much worse when two objects are going towards one another. So they rush in, I throw something, and then all of a sudden the guy is wobbled. And he's wobbled not because I threw a really hard shot, but just because he met my jab or he met my front kick to the stomach or something. So you need to be very careful, even though you're somebody who's crazy fast and you might be able to get from here to here. And like half the time it takes most other people, you're just bang, bang, bang. Even though you can do that, you need to be very careful on your entry because moving forward very quick can be very reckless. If you don't initiate a couple of things like maybe head movement or maybe a fake to freeze the guy up before you move. Essentially be very careful of leaping in. Now, one other thing I want to caution you on is getting into firefights because I've seen many people, or maybe I should explain what a firefight is, just basically jumping in and just, he throws, I throw. If I can throw 3 punches in the time he throws 2 punches, I have a massive advantage in terms of landing shots. But standing in the pocket and getting into a firefight when the other guy's throwing 2 for my every 3 does not mean I'm going to come out the better. It might mean that this guy hits 40% harder than me, and me standing here is very unwise, which is why we already talked about that in and out movement. The final thing I want to talk about that you should be looking to do with your speed advantage is create openings. And we're able to do that because if we can come from here to here and the timing between shots is like, whereas a normal person it's more like 1, 2. Somebody who's slow with the timing between their punches gives the other guy on defense a massive opportunity to block both shots. If somebody throws jab cross at me and I only have to go 1, 2, 1, 2, but then the guy starts throwing really fast and I have to go, that's much harder. Then when we get somebody who can fire those shots like, and I have to go, like that, imagine what happens when they come on different levels or big different angles. I have to come here and then down to here, but it has to be done like this fast. Boom, boom. That's what you want to use. That's what you want to utilize your speed for. Not just for diving in and getting into firefights or jumping in and throwing 10 straight punches up to the head. You want to make sure you create openings. And it's so much easier. And I have noticed this, especially when I go against big guys who are much slower than me. It's so easy to create openings. I tap, 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 and then boom, their body's open. But because the normal pace for them is kind of 1, 2, 3, boom, they're not ready for somebody who goes like 1, 2, 3, boom. And their hands come up and they can't get their elbows back down. So utilize that speed to throw some shots at one height and change and surprise people down low. Or I jump in, I go 1, 2, 3, their elbows start to lower, but they think, if he comes to head level, I'll be able to make the adjustment. But because you're so fast, they can't. And this is one of the fantastic ways to utilize your speed, either setting things up or throwing fakes. Something else, like I come with a round kick, boom. Come with the round kick, boom. And then I come, whoop, and I snake the kick in. And because I can do that so fast, so much faster than everybody else, and because I can do that so fast, so much faster than everybody else, I can land shots so much easier. But only if you use your brain. You can't just go, okay, I'm really fast, I don't have to think. You still have to be a very smart, intelligent fighter to utilize that amazing gift of speed which you've been given. And that's pretty much all I want to talk about today with speed. It's just my thoughts and ways you can make sure that you utilize it that much better. Guys, if you have not checked out the whole series, you can do so right here. Check out all the other fighting physiques. In particular, even if you are not gifted with a particular asset, you want to watch the videos and make sure you understand how other people might try and use these things against you. So if you're somebody who's naturally weaker and you're not really strong for your weight class, you want to go in and see, okay, what is somebody with lots of strength going to try and do against me? And then you can start formulating game plans or start figuring out how you're going to utilize that really fast speed to neutralize that strength. And of course, guys, if you enjoyed today's episode, please give it a like. If you haven't already, join the channel and get subscribed. As always, guys, train hard. I'll see you back here soon for another video.